Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 118 of the Free to Hope Presents Recovery Conversation with Edwina B. That's me, y'all. Applying the 12 steps to COVID-19. Yes, to God be the glory. There is a solution to this pandemic and its effects, outcomes, impact, and fatalities. But our Creator woke you up this morning, woke me up this morning, breathed life into you this morning, breathed life into me this morning, because our Creator uses broken, wounded, and shattered people like me and like you to rescue wounded and shattered and broken people like me and like you, in order to set people free from recovery, emerge empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. And that's why for the past 31 plus years, I have been prepared to sit before you to share my experience, my strength, my hope, my wisdom. Since February the 23rd, of 2021, we celebrated 31 years in the 12-step program that was created by the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous close to 90 years ago. But by the grace of God, He delivered me, prepared me to sit before you for over 1 year and a day, right? Because on March the 31st of 2020, I read an article by Dr. Scott T. Allison that says we as a society can benefit from the wisdom of 12-step programs. And on April the 1st of 2021, the Spirit allowed me to sit before you and hit that button. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, live. It was only designed to last for 30 days, but now because we are touching people, we are educating people, we are inspiring people, we are encouraging people to apply these 12 spiritual principles to COVID-19 and practice utilizing the simple suggestions of the CDC of just washing your hands, wearing a mask, social distancing, contact tracing, getting tested, and getting vaccinated. So even though this is not the first, nor will it be the last pandemic, that the Creator knows the beginning, the middle, and the end, this time He offers a solution to the problem if we just listen and obey, to be restored to soundness of mind, to do the right next thing, because it'll help save your life, my life, our family members' lives, the lives of our fellow human beings. Wouldn't you want to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem? Then we need to continue to present this information to you in a recovery conversation format. It's not about judging you, criticizing you, judging me, criticizing me. What? Because I am, and my members of my family are in day 118 of being restored to our full capacity to breathe, to smell, to taste, as we all suffered through COVID-19. Out of the 9 of us, just 3 of us had symptoms. The other 6 were asymptomatic. So for that reason alone, we were prepared, we were obligated, we were destined to share this information with you so that you don't have to make the same mistakes we did. And so because of that, we want to pay homage to the Creator who woke all of us up this morning, the Creator who has everyone that transitioned from COVID-19. He has everyone that have been left behind as a result of losing loved ones to COVID-19. He has everyone that is suffering right now, this moment, this second, from COVID-19. Yes, He even have those who are doing the next right thing, those who are intervening on behalf of those with COVID-19. And yes, those who are still defiant, rebellious, and selfish regarding COVID-19. So in other words, our Creator has all of his children under one umbrella. But guess what? In a 12-step program, they say some of us must die in order for some of us to live. Why? Because some of us are just constitutionally incapable of being honest and taking this COVID-19 for granted. No more, because I had the information and did not use it. Therefore, I am sitting before you with my experience, my strength, my hope, my lack of wisdom, my bad decisions, my bad choices on how I contributed to contracting COVID-19 and infecting members of my family. So you better believe we practice the CDC suggestion adamantly, right? With no excuses. Listen. We wear the mask, we wash our hands, we social distancing, we do contact tracing, we get tested, and age appropriate, we get vaccinated, and you can do the same thing. So before we go any further, let's give homage to our Creator and the entire human race as we all experience this knee-bowing experience. So that we can learn these 12 spiritual principles to apply to any and all physical conditions, but using a spiritual angle. As Donald Lawrence said in his song, Spiritual, you are not a natural being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being walking and living this natural experience. So when we learn and apply and practice these 12 spiritual principles, we will, we must stop the perpetuation of this devastating pandemic. Join me for just 30 seconds in a moment of silence. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Because there, by the grace of God, there go I. So let me pose this question to you. Are you in the prevention mode of COVID-19, the intervention mode of COVID-19, or the restoration mode of COVID-19? Are you being proactive, reactive, inactive, responsive, or responsible for your part in this COVID-19 pandemic? Only you can determine what category you are in, because we are all in this together, and we all need to do our part in spite of those who refuse to do their part, who refuse to take this COVID-19 seriously, who refuse to be defiant and rebellious and self-centered. In spite of, they are yet our brothers and sisters. And so if you want to learn from my experience from contracting COVID-19 and infecting members of my family, if you want to learn from those who have lost loved ones to COVID-19, if you want to learn from those who are experiencing COVID-19 right now, if you want to learn from those who have been restored and still feel the impact of COVID-19, then listen. Don't just hear them, but listen. Listen to learn and learn to listen. And so if you are from Missouri, not literally, but that's the show me state. What you see now, I don't look like what I've been through. Surviving alcoholism, drug addiction, prostitution, rapes, suicide attempts, all of that for the purpose of me being prepared to sit before you 31 years in recovery and say that these 12 spiritual principles, they work. And they will work, can work, must work in all our affairs, even COVID-19. And to sit before you looking like this, I definitely don't look like what I've been through as of December when I sat before you with COVID-19. So if you are from Missouri, the show me state, let me show you what COVID-19 looked like on me. Y'all out there who don't believe, yes, take a look at this. That's me back on December the 3rd of 2020 when I sat before you just the way you see that picture. No pearly white dentures, no makeup, Yes, could hardly breathe, could hardly smell, could hardly taste. My entire body felt like a giant toothache. But yet God prepared me to sit before you to let you see what he can do through these 12 spiritual principles. And the picture next to it, I think I had like a month or so in recovery, but now I am 118 days restored from COVID-19. As a result of that, yes, I did my homework. I did my research. I asked the right questions in terms of getting tested and ultimately getting vaccinated. I had to dispel the rumors, the myth, and research the facts and look at what's happening now. Who is taking the shot? Why are they taking the shot? And I had to come up with my own decision because I learned that taking the vaccination shot will decrease the severity of the symptoms should I contract COVID-19 again, thereby decreasing the possibility of me being hospitalized and ultimately decreasing the possibility of me dying from COVID-19. So in our 12-step program, we ask you this question. Are you willing to save your face or your behind? So that means we got to take off all the other masks that's designed to show who we want to be, but not show us who we really are. So in my picture on December the 3rd, you saw me totally transparent. I believe in total transparency because the sooner I tell myself the truth, the sooner I tell you the truth, the sooner I can get better and the sooner you can get better. To thy own self be true. When you can be true to yourself, you can be true to others if you choose to. And if you apply these 12 spiritual principles that says all you have to do is be willing to make progress rather than achieve perfection, because that is not realistic. So let me show you that as a result of doing my research, asking the questions, looking up everything and watching with my spiritual eyes, seeing with my spiritual eyes, hearing with my spiritual ears, hearing with my spiritual ears. Are you listening? So let me show you my first shot on February, I believe it's the 6th of 2021. You ever been so excited about getting a needle? Yes. Getting a needle, yes. Put my hand up. All right. Okay. You see, I'm joined by one of my grandchildren. Now, even though she just turned 3, her first cousin, Xander, at the age of 2, contracted COVID-19. And as a result of him contracting COVID-19, right, he was able to survive, but he had days of being feverish and the whole 9 yards. And so my co-host here is Alana Brielle Dockery. Say hi, all right? So here's my second shot on March the 4th. And I want you to listen to what she says. Yes, dear, yes, dear. Yes. Did you hear that? A shot of hope. A shot of hope. And so please, Our goal is to get as many people vaccinated as early as possible and as young as possible so that we can stop the perpetuation of this devastating pandemic and the variants that are among us and still coming. The numbers are reaching close to 600,000 reported. Reported just in the United States alone. So when you think about what's going on around the world simultaneously, just like our disease of alcoholism and drug addiction, they do not discriminate, and neither does COVID-19, which is why we should, to save our lives, to save the lives of our loved ones, to save the lives of each other, wear the simple mask that's going to save your life. Wash your hands so that we don't have to transfer any germs from one person to another. To practice social distancing, contact tracing, getting tested, and getting vaccinated. And so as a result of being prepared to sit before you, I want to present to you on our anniversary, our 1-year anniversary, which was April the 1st, when I sat before you on April the 1st of 2020 as a result of Dr. Scott T. Allison's article in Psychology Today that says we as a society can benefit from the wisdom of the 12 steps. And he used the Al-Anon Anonymous approach and emphasized 7 points. Then I went to the website and looked for a simplistic breakdown of the 12 steps, and I found Jason Waller's breaking down the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. So with those two resources, we have been able to inspire you, educate you, hopefully motivate you, to embrace the 12 steps that are spiritual in nature to deal with any and all physical conditions, especially and specifically to COVID-19. So with that being said, I will introduce their information to you, but I want to first recognize my sponsors. This information is free. It's free to everyone. But in order for me to increase my platform, in order for me to upgrade my equipment, and you will see when I share some of my earlier podcasts, how I was in my kitchen, in the bedroom, in the bathroom, whatever I could, set up a camera, right, and say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action. It was more important to get the message out than concentrating on the messenger. And so as you can see, we have elevated, we have increased, and we are expanding. And if it's God's will, we will become syndicated. Yes, we will. Because we want to encourage everyone in every language around every part of the world how these CDC suggestions can save the lives of so many and decrease the perpetuation of this COVID-19. So if you would like to be a sponsor, please follow the instructions that I will show you. But right now, I definitely want to acknowledge my sponsors, and I ask that you patronize them as well. So let's go. We have the first one, to be free to hope. From recovery, emerge empowered. We have Patchwork Human Services with Ebony Marjorie. We have Levante and Dorsey and Associates. Academy of Peace, Dr. J. Macklin, my spiritual advisor, and she prophesies that Edwina, her and Sandy Anderson say, 30 days ain't enough. You're going to keep going until God say enough is enough, until he assigns me a next obligation and duty. Crafty Crab Seafood Restaurant is where I had my anniversary, right? My 31-year anniversary, and they are located in Wilmington, Delaware. For the last 30 plus years, I've been going to the 1212 Corporation. It's a recovery safe haven here in Wilmington, Delaware, and I attend my 12-step meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Monday through Saturday, and from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Sundays. Thank God for the 1212 Corporation and other facilities that allow the Alcoholics Anonymous Fellowship to host their 12-step meetings, all right? Our next sponsor is Women Do Haul Transportation Services. Mr. C's Barbershop, Mark Cooper, designs my crown that I wear every day. The outfits that I wear at times come from Morgan's of Delaware, and my Afrocentric attire is from Lady T, housed at Morgan of Delaware. Some of the jewelry I wear is jewelry by Catherine Butler. Other outfits I wear come from Jones Accessory of Philadelphia. And every morning, Monday through Friday, I tune into the Morning Wake Up with Ambassador Tamika Strickland from 4:30 a.m. to 4:45. Get inspired, get motivated, and be encouraged. Last but not least is Divine Light Recovery Center Supportive Housing. Many of you know from a 12-step program, Dr. Carl John, Dr. Bob, and Bill W. realized that the religious sector couldn't help us, the medical sector couldn't help us, and what they found out was for alcoholics and drug addicts, we needed divine intervention. We needed divine providence that will lead us to the divine light. And who would have ever thought but God would have me working for the organization called Divine Light. So if you want to be a sponsor, please follow the information that's on the screen. Or if you just want to send a contribution or a support donation, send it to $free to Hope so that we can spread the good news that we must stop this perpetuation of COVID-19. Now, as a result of sharing with you my sponsors, I also want to recognize the resources that I mentioned earlier, and they are Dr. Scott T. Allison, right? And he is on Psychology Today, how wisdom of the 12-step programs can help us back then through the month of April 2020. And look where we are now, April to 2021, and COVID-19 is still kicking butt. Why? Because some of us, a lot of us, are still being defiant, rebellious, self-centered, selfish, having an attitude of being invincible, and we are contributing to killing people unnecessarily. So you can be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. And with that, we will go and recognize Jason Waller breaking down of the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. And so let's go right to it, because I just believe in repetition. I got that from Alcoholics Anonymous and all other 12-step programs, that when the student is ready, when the student needs to be elevated, when the student forgets, the teachers can appear. 1, we admitted we were powerless over COVID-19 and that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a powers greater than us could restore us to sanity, and sanity only means soundness of mind. Then we go to 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. 4, made a searching and fearless more inventory of ourselves, right? Then we go to 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrong. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all defects of character. And 7, we talked about humbly asking him to remove all our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. And 9, which is the step we are presently on, it says that we may direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it, right? And so we go to 12, where it says, listen, sort through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will and power to carry it out. All you have to do is say, help me to be obedient to the CDC's recommendation. That simple, you can begin to improve your relationship with the God of your understanding. And 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to others regarding COVID-19 and to practice these principles in all our affairs. And so, as you can see, when we learn, embrace, internalize, and practice these 12 spiritual principles and apply it to all physical conditions, we can, we will, we must be in the solution and no longer in the problem. All right. So what I want to do right now is to share with you a little bit of April the 7th of 2020, when I repeated the steps. I'm getting ready to repeat step 10, but then I'm going to continue on recovery principle number 5, I believe. But you can see how much progress we have made in the journey, which is why I need your support as a sponsor. I need you to help us become syndicated so that we can share the good news of being in the solution of applying the 12 spiritual principles to COVID-19. So listen. Number 10 says, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Similar to recovery principle number 4, we identified what those character defects are as well as those assets. But recovery principle number 10 says, on a daily basis, we continue to inventory ourselves. And then when we were wrong, we promptly admitted it. Instead of letting stuff fester and build up. For what? I'm not going to let you rob my peace, my tranquility. No. So recovery principle number 10, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Recovery principle number 11 says, sort through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with the God as we understand him. Praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. So I told y'all that I was able to identify my higher power, a power greater than me, as God. And working through the 12 recovery principles from 1 to 10, I've seen and see how my life has changed, more importantly, spiritually. So why wouldn't I want to continue praying and continue meditating to improve that conscious contact with my God and asking for knowledge of his will, and the power to carry it out? Because every morning we are dealt a hand, honey. And if you play poker, pity pack, tonk, bridge, big whist, whatever they call it, you don't know what's under those cards, do you? Neither do we in recovery. But guess what? We have confidence that no matter what hand we are dealt, we are going to be all right. Because we are not playing that hand alone. That hand was not dealt to us. It was given. That hand was dealt to us. We didn't pick and choose. So that's, to me, says, whatever life throws at us, God will reveal what his will for me is, and he's going to provide me the strength and the courage to carry it out. Yes. That's why recovery principle number 11 is so important. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve. Oh, I get stronger every minute of the day, every day, y'all. I'm looking forward to the next 30 years in recovery. I'm in love with recovery. I'm in love with it. Because it's helping me spiritually to be a better person so that I can be a better person to you. And more importantly, to be a better person for our Creator. He's not worried about how many houses you have, how much money you make. Did you feed my people? Did you comfort them? Did you give them shelter? Did you embrace them? Did you hug them? Did you say you love them? Yes, that's what he wants to know. Did you share the hope? Did you share about me? Did you share what I did for you to them so that they can seek me too? Yes. So in recovery, using the 12 recovery principles, I've learned to stay on course, but I also learned that course entails me helping other people. Are you being helped this morning? Are you being helped with this
She's in here asleep.
that you might not have known?
That's why you need help.
Do you feel me?
No, I've been started an half hour ago.
Oh, sorry.
I feel you. You're like, wow. I feel you. Even in the midst of the storm, I feel you. And I want you to feel me. We can be free from recovery, emerging
I can talk. What's up?
to give hope to others, help others prosper equally, but prosper spiritually. Yes. All right. So recovery principle number 12 is having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these recovery principles, we try to carry this message that I'm sharing with you and to practice these principles in all unfair. So that's what I'm doing. My spirit has been awakened. Donna Lawrence again said, you are not a natural being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being living this natural experience. So even in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic, I can still smile. I can still say I love you. I can still embrace you. I can show empathy. I can show compassion. Because that other spirit wants me to be selfish, self-centered, resentful, egotistical, prideful, all of that. Oh, no. Not me. That takes away my peace. No. I'm no longer that person. And guess what? You aren't either. Just by the mere fact that right now, seeds are being planted in your life. Just by this presentation. So, having had my spirit awakened, I'm doing my part. I can only do my part. And trying to carry this message that I've been given these last 30 years to other people who will receive it. So what we learned in a 12-step program, the last half of recovery principle number 12, it says, and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So I practice what I learned through these recovery. Sometimes with these dentures, honey, I get tongue-tied. So don't mind me. I'm not stuttering or nothing like that. But when I practice these 12 recovery principles in the rooms of my 12-step program, I get to lead there and practice them in the world. And I came up with this analogy a few weeks ago that I've been using in others too. And I want you to use it too. So listen, there's a population of 100%, right? And I believe that those who are in recovery are the chosen ones. I do. Some of us are chosen for different tasks, different things by our Creator. So those in recovery, we are the chosen ones. And so of that 100%, right, there are those who are in recovery. We consider ourselves the 5% of that 100%. But we learn the skills and the knowledge of these 12 recovery principles so that we practice them on the 95% of the remaining of the population. Isn't that nice? So life becomes our target practice, utilizing these 12 recovery principles. Yes. Life becomes our target practice, y'all. You know, they say in the scriptures, which the 12 recovery principles came from the scriptures. I need to say that too. But our co-founders, you know, they learned from the two previous movements, the Oxford group and the Washingtonians, and they realized they were a temperance group and one was a religious group. That no, it needs to be spiritually based. Yes, spiritually based. And so when we practice these 12 recovery principles in all our affairs, we are utilizing what we have learned to deal with life on life terms. And for people in recovery from drugs and alcohol, so that we don't go back to drinking, so that we don't go back to using, so that we don't go back to prostituting, so that we don't go back to stealing, so that we don't go back to lying and manipulating and causing harm. No, no, no. I don't want to ever live that life again. I enjoy living this life, though. I enjoy living the life of recovery.
Yes, yes, yes.
Why? Because of these 12 recovery principles. So yesterday we did talk about number 5. We admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. We were able to get to the exact nature so that that onion can now, that has been unraveled over here, that onion, my spirit, can be layered with character building assets. And through recovery principle number 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all those defects of character. Wouldn't you want God to remove all those things that prohibits him or prevents him from using you? If he delivered you from something, you are obligated to share with other people. You are obligated to help somebody else. Yes, you are. And then you look at it as an honor, like I do. Oh, God, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for my spirit. I thank you for the 12 recovery principles. Because what I couldn't do for my children, I'm now doing for my grandchildren. What I didn't do for the agencies that I worked for in the past, I can do in moving forward. All those things and all those people that I hurt in the past, I hopefully have made amends to just about all. And through the 12 recovery principle number 10, I will promptly admit it if I make a mistake and cause harm to you. Isn't that freedom, y'all? So wouldn't you want God to remove any and everything that prevents you or prohibits him from using you? I know I do. And then when we fall short, we just ask him to help us again, to remove that shortcoming. Yeah. So it's a couple more minutes, and I want to emphasize once again that these recovery principles can be utilized in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic. And just let me share with you out there that people in recovery, because we have these principles, we accept what's going on in the world. But we also learn how to keep the focus on ourselves and those about us. And how do we do that? We keep practicing the 12 recovery principles. One of the main things that we use is that serenity prayer.
Yes.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Yes.
And so while we are and the safety of our home.
Mm-hmm.
For those who have homes, be grateful. If you have shelter, be grateful. Because recovery principles let us know that not everybody has the same privileges that we may have. That somebody is worse off than we are. Somebody may be better than we are, but there's people who are worse than we are. So how do we have gratitude for what we have? The recovery principles help us to do that. So while we are in the safety of our home, let's practice showing patience, tolerance, love, empathy, compassion, helping others, helping ourselves to help others. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm sitting before you now. My grandchildren, I had 6 at one time here. Then I had 5. Then I had 4. Then I had 3. Then I had 2. Now I have 1 upstairs. And he's going home today. But even in the midst of that, I was able to do my presentation after giving God the glory for waking me up. I was able to attend to their needs and then attend to their wants. Watching Barney, watching the Muppets, watching movies that I forgot were even still existed. Playing with them, giving them attention. Yes. Working on my house, cleaning this room, cleaning that room, fixing this up, fixing that down, laying down, going to sleep, eating. Starting on my book, starting on my 2nd book. Yes. And guess what? I'm going to be leaving you in about a minute because I still go to my 12-step meetings. Yes, after 30 years, I still go to meetings. Why? Because that 1 hour that we go to our 12-step meetings, we get everything we need to live the other 23 hours. If I take my blood pressure medicine every day, I take my depression medicine every day, I take other medication every day, why can I take my recovery medication every day by going to a meeting? If I can't go, I talk to somebody, but I go. And we conform to what they ask, so it's less than 10 of us gathering at our 12-step meeting. So I just want to leave you with, please tune in every day up until the 30th of April. And please review
Right. Mm.
the first 6 days of my presentation so that you can get a better grasp and understanding of what people like us go through, what we learn, what we're exposed to in a 12-step program, being taught the 12 recovery principles and how we stay joyous, a heart of gratitude, and the willingness to be of service to others. Have a blessed day. Be safe. Be safe. And do the next right thing. Learn that serenity prayer. Internalize it. Marinate on it. Until tomorrow, I will see you then.
See, huh? Isn't that awesome? Now, again, we celebrated 1 year yesterday, April the 1st of 2021, where it was originally assigned to me just for 30 days based on Dr. Scott T. Allison's article and utilizing Jason Waller's template. But Sandy Anderson and Dr. Jay Macklin and our dear friend who has transitioned, Dr. Mary Douglas Bailey, said, no, no, no. God told us to tell you to keep on talking, keep on playing, keep on inspiring people, keep on helping people. And here it is a year later. Back then it was just 30, 40 reported here in the United States. Now we're close to 600,000. It is going to increase. So listen, that's why I want to become, if it's God's will, syndicated, so that we can get the word out, so that we can inspire people, so that we can have it in all kinds of languages, spread across the world on your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, word of mouth presentations, podcasts, to save one more life, to save one more family. And we can, if we each do our part of wearing a mask, washing our hands, social distancing, contact tracing, getting tested and getting vaccinated, and most importantly, not taking this COVID-19 for granted. There, by the grace of God, there go I. So let's continue with recovery principle number 9. May direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. As I shared previously, we are giving you the foundation of all the steps as prepared by Jason Waller in a narrative form, synopsis, summary, posing various questions, giving you different benefits and why we should embrace the 12 recovery principles. And he applying it to alcohol and drugs, but we are going to change the focus and apply it to COVID-19. But let me continue to give you the foundation as it was written and compiled by Jason Waller. So yesterday, repetition is important. We talked about the direct amends. We talked about what indirect amends are. We talked about living amends. We talked about the 3 R's: restoration, resolution, and restitution. We also went into when to do so would injure them or others, when we want to make our amends and be set free. We started with the spiritual principles, always a good day for humble pie. For humble pie, yes. And so we also talked about going through what was necessary and what it means to be humble. And then we presented to you some of the questions that were posed by Jason Waller in terms of answering them and being prepared to see the benefits of why you are doing the 12 recovery principles, right? So we went over the 12 questions, but you need to go back to my previous podcast to see them, because I want to continue to move forward, okay? So this next section is titled Freedom. From recovery, emerge empowered to give hope to others, help others prosper equally. So it says freedom, moving on from step 9 of Alcoholics Anonymous. So let's see what he says. Do you want to be free is the first question. You see what happens when you yield? When you yield to the Spirit. Do you want to be free? Well, there are no half measures, and it ain't easy. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. It takes strength and courage to own up to our mistakes and, when necessary, make restitutions. It is another rewarding part of our journey, recovering, and let me repeat that. It is another rewarding part of our recovery journey and brings us closer to the gift of freedom. From recovery, emerge empowered to be set free from any and all physical conditions, situations, and circumstances. Wouldn't you want to be free? To learn how to apply these spiritual angles? As we walk and live this earthly journey? Yes, you can be set free. He continues to say, many of us find it helpful to reflect on our amends after making each one. Some of us do this by writing about how it felt to make the amends and what we learned from the experience. Living our 9th step requires that we try not to incur new debts, new wrongdoings, or misdeeds. Avoiding such future liabilities is just as much a part of our amends process as making regular payments on past due debts. This actually means we are ready for the 10th step. Freedom. Freedom seems to be the word that most clearly describes the essence of step 9. It seems to sum up the relief from guilt and shame, the lessening of our obsession with self, and the increased ability to appreciate what's really going on all around us. We may even start to think of our past as a gold mine of experiences to share with other people we're trying to help in recovery, instead of as a period of darkness and that we regret. We stop thinking about our lives in terms of what we don't have and begin to appreciate the gifts that we receive every single day. The ability to breathe. That alone. And finally, we are very aware that in order to keep this feeling of freedom, we will need to keep on applying what we have learned while working the steps, one day at a time. When we do this, we gain a new perspective, and the promises of the 9th step come true in our lives, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. So listen to the promises. When it talks about freedom, listen to these promises. After we embark on the first 9 steps, these promises will be actualized. Listen to the promises and see how you can be set free from any and all physical conditions. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. Promise number 1. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. 2, we will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. 3, we will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. 4, no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. 5, that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. 6, we will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. 7, self-seeking will slip away. 8, our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. 9, fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. 10, we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. 11, we will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. 12, are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always
materialize if we work for them. And this, if you want to look it up, comes from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous on pages 83 and 84. Let me read those promises again. 1, we are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. 2, we will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. 3, we will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. 4, no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. 5, that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. 6, we will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. 7, self-seeking will slip away. 8, our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. 9, fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. 10, we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. 11, we will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. Guilt for our wrongs can be one of the most deceptive recovery demons to bear because it damages us from the inside where it happily resides. Get rid of that guilt. Apologize. Make your amends and let go of them so that you can breathe freely. Yes. All right. So that concludes the overview of Jason Waller's breakdown of step 9. So tomorrow we will apply this same step specifically to COVID-19. Dissecting, analyzing, evaluating, internalizing, what it means to apply step 9 to COVID-19. I will share my experience, my strength, my hope, and my wisdom, my restoration to sanity to achieve that psychic change, and share with you how I made direct amends to my family members who I infected with COVID-19, how I made direct amends to others, how I made indirect amends, and how I am making now living amends, even by sharing this information with you. All right, so tomorrow, if it's God's will that we are joined on 119, we must continue to learn how to apply these 12 spiritual principles and practicing the simple suggestions offered by the CDC, wearing your mask, washing your hands, social distancing, contact tracing, getting tested, and getting vaccinated. Yes. And doing it over and over again until such time God says enough is enough. So I ask you again, are you in the prevention, intervention, or restoration mode of COVID-19? Are you being proactive, inactive, reactive, or responsible when it comes to COVID-19? Only you can answer that question. So let me once again say thank you to my sponsors and ask that you plant the seed, if it's God's will, that we become syndicated. Please, if it's God's will. So they are, okay, we have, let's see, Free to Hope, Patchwork Human Services, Levante and Dorsey and Associates, Academy of Peace,
Crafty Crab Seafood Restaurant. We have 1212 Corporation. We also have Women Do Hall Transportation. We have Mr. C's Barbershop, Morgans of Delaware, and Lady T at Morgans of Delaware. Jewelry by Catherine Butler. Jones Accessory of Philadelphia. Morning Wake Up with Ambassador Tamika Strickland. And Divine Light Recovery Center Supportive Housing. Until we meet again, be safe, and be safe.